his desire to check a person or correct a person or reform a person in his own ways. He has his own ways. Somebody doesn't get water to drink. Somebody dies out of thirst. Somebody dies out of hunger. Why? Because it is his desire. And his desire is dependent on our karmas also. When our karmas are very bad, then Lord has to check our karmas. Then for that, he knows how to reform us. Or somebody is getting a lot of food to eat. Somebody is getting a lot of water to drink, lot of juices to drink. Again, it is his karma because of which Lord opens the mouth. Simple. It is Lord who gives us the facility. It is not my endeavor which gives me the facility. Yes, my endeavor is up to the extent of doing good karma or bad karma. And it is again up to Lord. We can only know about this life. But what about the previous life, what I have done? I don't know. So there are so many lifetimes from which we have accumulated so many impressions and for which Lord agitates us in different ways and gives us the facilities in different ways. Sometimes gives the facilities, sometimes withdraws the facility. So that is how Krishna is the supreme controller. You should always understand. It is Lord who is the supreme controller. And he knows when to keep our mouth open. He's desirous of when he desired to drink and eat. So he desired means what? Lord wants to drink or what? It's not Lord who is drinking. He desires to give this facility. Simple. Okay. So Vrindavanila Mataji, read this.
Hare Krishna. Pranena nashi क्षिपता शुत्रृत् अंतराजायते विभुः पिपासतो जक्षतश्च प्राणमुखं निर्भयत्यत. The living force, being agitated by the Virat Purush, generated hunger and thirst, and when he desired to drink and eat, the mouth opened. The process by which all living beings in the womb of the mother develop their sense organs and sense perceptions appears to follow the same principles in the case of the Virat Purusha, the sum total of all living entities. Therefore, the supreme cause of all generation is not impersonal or without desire. The desires for all kinds of sense perception and sense organs exist in the Supreme, and thus they take place in the individual persons. This desire is the nature of the Supreme Living Being, the Absolute Truth, because he has the sum total of all mouths. The individual living entities have mouths. Similarly, with all the other senses and sense organs, here the mouth is the symbolic representation of all sense organs, for the same principles apply to the others also. Hare Krishna.
Very nicely it has been told here. See, Lord, everybody's mouth is what? Lord is the owner of everyone's mouth also. He has the sum total of everyone's mouth. The individual living entity have mouth. Whatever mouths we are having, all the senses. That is why he is Rishikesha. Why is he Rishikesha? He is the Isha, he is the controller of all our organs. If our particular organ is not working, then it is again desire of his. What to do? He has a desire. And his desire is dependent on our karma. Simple. And sometimes, if Lord desires to go to withdraw all our karmic reactions, again his desire. Some special anugraha, and that can happen only when there is some recommendation by our acharyas. That is the place where Guru Shishya Parampara comes into picture. Why Guru is needed? Only to give the recommendation that please open the mouth always and keep our senses intact. That means please remove our karmic reaction. So for that special recommendation. And that special recommendation is how? There's a nice verse which says, Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam, come out of all the upadis. Even the upadi of controlling, come out of all these things. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam. Tat paratvena nirmalam. Have a simple heart, nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchyate. Then one can serve Lord. When we serve Lord with our Isha with our senses, Rishikena, with our senses, then that is bhakti uchyate. And that service is given by whom? That service is given by the spiritual master. And that is how all of our karmic reactions, which we would have faced very horribly, kept our mouth closed, kept all our senses in a very horrible way, that all because of the recommendation given by our spiritual master, then all things are nullified. Okay. So here we understand how Lord takes action. Next. Mukatastalu nirbhinnam जीवा तत्रोपजायते ततो नाना रसो जज्ञे जिह्वा जिव्यायो अधिगम्यते mukatah from the mouth, talu the palate, nirbhinnam being generated, jivha the tongue, tatra thereupon, upajayate becomes manifested, tataha thereupon, nana rasaha various tastes, jaghe become manifested, jivya by the tongue, yaha which adhigamyate become relished. Now see, today in the Nirjala Ekadashi all this taste and all is coming. I don't know. At least I am not followed. I'm not doing the Nirjala Ekadashi. If you all are doing, control your senses now what to do. And the controlling power also Krishna only gives. And Mukkatas talu nirbhinnam. From the mouth, the palate has come. And the palate is upper portion, right? Palate is upper portion. You have the tongue. When you take one food, what happens? The tongue and the palate and the mouth all function together. That is how Krishna has given the place where you taste and you get satisfied. It is not just eating and filling the belly. It is satisfaction. And that satisfaction also comes from Krishna. Like something horrible is given. You are not able to eat that horrible food. Why? Because the palate is there, the mouth is there, the tongue is there. Now just imagine, only mouth would have been there. No palate, no tongue. Can you swallow? Even to digest the food, the tongue generates saliva. That is why in tropical countries, we take little achar. What is the purpose of taking achar? The saliva is generated more. When you take something salty, the saliva is generated more. In the tropical countries where the heat is more, and when you sweat so much, naturally, your salt in the body is reduced. And that is the time how you start, like you are doing, suppose, Nirjala Ekadashi. Tomorrow, what first thing you have to do? First thing you have to put something salty in the mouth so that the saliva generates. Then take some juices. Take something like a khajur. You cannot just directly eat the food because palate and the tongue stop functioning. Mouth stopped functioning for one day. That one day stop functioning, naturally the enzymes in the body that has also, it is generated more because they are hungry. Stomach is hungry. The enzymes are generated. You cannot just directly put a food. If you put the food, tomorrow you will really have a loose motion. You cannot take that. You will say it is Krishna Prasad. Everything is proper, but little bit go scientific also because Krishna also speaks scientific. Krishna is not talking something sentimental. Krishna always speaks scientific. Now, palate is there, mouth is there. The palate and the mouth, the saliva generates. The rasanam, the taste also generates. And because of the taste generation, what happens? Your mind is satisfied. When there is a satisfaction in the mind, and when the food is going in the stomach, it is not only filling the stomach, it also satisfies your consciousness. Bhakti is dependent on our satisfaction also. Only for those exalted devotees who really don't have, like Raghunath Das Goswami, was not having anything except some chas. But he used to always have some great bliss. And once it so happened, he had stomachache. Then the doctor came and checked. He told, you ate so much. When the nearby people, they know that he has not eaten anything, because the exalted devotees, they eat with Krishna. They have their wonderful prasadam with Krishna in the eternal world. Because Raghunath Das Goswami drank only chas once in a week, I cannot do that. Because I will not eat here also, I will not eat with Krishna also. Naturally, I will fall sick. Better is, we are conditioned souls, let us be little practical and take whatever required to keep our health fit, so that we can serve Krishna very nicely. That is more important. Keeping the health fit and serving Krishna, that is more important than any other thing. And that is real austerity. What is austerity? Is keeping ourselves fit to serve Krishna. Okay. So here very clearly Krishna says that I have given the mouth, I have given the palate, I have given the tongue, so that the tongue can relish the taste and there is a satisfaction. And here also very nicely it has been given, the gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deity. Varuna is the controlling deity for all relishable juices. Okay. So read this, Aruna Mataji. Your voice is not heard. You are able to hear her voice? Okay. Raksha
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare
Ah,
Krishna.
read.
Text 18. मुखतस्तालु निर्भिन्नं जिह्वा तत्रोपजायते ततो नानारसो जज्ञे जिह्वायो दिगमयते. Translation: from the mouth, the palate became manifested, and thereupon the tongue was also generated. After this, all the different tastes came into existence, so that the tongue can relish them. Purport: this gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deities Adidaiva, because Varuna is the controlling deity for all relishable juices. Therefore, the mouth becomes the resting place for the tongue, which tastes all the different juices, of which the controlling deity is Varuna. This suggests, therefore, that Varuna was also generated along with the development of the tongue. The tongue and the palate, being instrumental, are Adibhutam, or forms of matter, but the functioning deity, who is a living entity, is Adidaiva, whereas the person undergoing the function is Adhyatma. Thus, the three categories are also explained as to their birth after the opening of the mouth of the Virata Purusha. The four principles mentioned in this verse serve to explain the three main principles, namely Adhyatma, Adidaiva, and Adibhutam, as explained above, as explained before. Hare Krishna.
Next verse. Vivakshor mukhato gumno anirvak vyahratam tayoh jale chaitasya suchiram nirodha samajayatah. Vivaksho, when there was a need to speak, mukataha, from the mouth, gumnaha, the supreme, vahani, fire, or the controlling deity of fire, vak, vibration, vaharutam, speeches, tayoho, by both, jale, in the water, cha, however, etasya, of all these, suchiram, a very, very strong time, nirodho, suspension, samajayate, did continue. When the Supreme desired to speak, speeches were vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity Then the controlling deity, fire, was generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. So now see, Vak Devata is fire. The controlling deity, fire, was generated from the mouth. For the taste, it is Varuna. We say na, there are controlling deities for our body. The taste generates from Varuna. The speech generates from fire.
Yes.
So, how Lord is controlling when a person wants to speak, like I am speaking, it is Lord who makes me speak. I cannot say I am speaking. No, it is Lord who desires that I should speak. And the controlling deity of our mouth is fire. That is why it is generally said, why the mantras are chanted, so that we purify our tongue. When we chant the mantras, naturally, it is Agni Devata who is satisfied. First, when Lord is satisfied, all the Devatas are satisfied. And the power is also given by Lord by Bade Prabhu.
Sorry.
So the Lord is satisfied, all the Devatas are automatically satisfied. That is how, see how every moment, today I am speaking, tomorrow I am giving some bad words. Then you can say, good speech also comes from the mouth, bad speech also comes from the mouth. Did Lord desire to give bad speech? No. Lord desired, yes, because our karmas are making us go further into the loop. I have to get entangled in the further karmas because my karmas are so bad that I want to become more and more bad. Then it is Lord who desires to speak such bad things from your mouth. That is why devotees generally should not use any bad language from the mouth. The moment you use a bad language from the mouth, Saraswati, who is Vak Devata, will not be satisfied. She is Vak Devata. Controlling deity is who? Agni. That is how when you speak something bad, Agni Devata, instead of getting pacified, he burns more. He burns, he agitates us more. And that is how the cruel words turn out to many cruel, disastrous things. On the contrary, if you have the anugraha of Saraswati, you will speak something which is wonderful, which will pacify the controlling deity Agni. And that is how Agni Devata is subservient to Lord, and how the mantras reach to Lord through the controlling deities. Adideva Shakti. Very, very important. When we open the mouth, what type of words flow? See, there are so many bad words, which I can easily come out. But if it comes out, what will happen? It will agitate the Devata. Because he is sitting in our mouth. Agni Devata sits in our mouth, agitates, entangles us more. And in this way, we will be just lost in our karmas. Matirana Krishna Parata Satova Na Vipatyetas Grahavatanam Adanta Gobir Vijatantamisram Punas Charita Charvanana. Matirana Krishna, if our Mati is not in Krishna, that is why Ambarish Maharaj says, Savaimana Krishna Padarvindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvarne. If our mind is in Krishna, automatically Vachamsi, our words will come in Krishna's favor. When our words come in Krishna's favor, Saraswati Anugraha is there. Agni Anugraha is there. Devata's Anugraha is there. Naturally, Lord's recommendation goes very fast. Understand, Devatas play a very important role. They are also our gurus. They are controlling us. We generally say, oh, but anyhow, Sarvo Devo Mayo Guru. All the Devatas are there at the feet of the spiritual master. You serve the spiritual master, all the Devatas are automatically happy. So the recommendation goes how? Through the Guru to the Devatas, and sometimes directly from the Guru to the Lord, sometimes through the Devatas to the Lord. So in this way, okay? So, I don't know, Bade Prabhu can read if he's having the book. Or Vrindavan Leela Mataji only continue.
विवक्षोर्विखतो भूम्नो वह्निर्वागविहृतं तयो जले च तस्य सुचिरं निरोधः समजायत When the Supreme desired to speak, speeches were vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire was generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. The peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously supported by the controlling deities. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls, who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. One who violates such controlling regulations has to be punished by degradation to a lower status of life. Consider, for example, just a second.
Next verse. Interesting verses, all are very interesting verses. Nasike nirabhyetam दोधूयति नभस्वती तत्र वायुर्गन्धवायुः घ्राणो नसि जिघ्रक्षतः नासिके निरभित्येता. From the nostrils, what has been developed, nirabhityeta means what has been developed, dodhuyati, very rapidly, nabhaswati, rapidly blowing, nabhaswati, respiration, air respiration. Tatra, thereupon, vayu, air, gandha, vayah, smelling order, granam, sense of smell, nasi, in the nose, jigrishataha, desiring to smell orders. Now see, our nose is functioning. How it is functioning? Different. Now Lord desires he should smell. Now that smell has two types. One is good smell, one is bad smell. One is a fragrance and one is a very bad odor. Now again, that is why we said, Ambarish Maharaj says, use the nose in smelling the flowers which is offered to Lord. Now why it is told? Because I can use my senses in a proper way. But if I don't want to do that, if I go to a beer bar, there also smell comes. I go to fish market, horrible odor. For me, it will be horrible. For somebody, it will be very nice. He is seeing fragrance in that. Like when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was making wonderful items with ghee, agal bagal mein all neighbor people, they came and told what horrible smell is coming. But they were used to eating very, very bad things, like 3 months. It was like stored and crabs and fishes, just the all stale things, contaminated things. But those who are finding in that also smell, they are also finding the smell in it. They are enjoying. For me, it is horrible. I like mango juice. Somebody likes wine. But the power of smell is coming from Lord only, na? Who is to be blamed? Lord says, don't blame me. Your karmas are deciding what type of order you have to take. Simple. Lord is to be blamed also because he is the permitter. Upadrashtanu manta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara. Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha. He is the permitter. But he is permitter after seeing our karmas. Somebody gets a wonderful fragrance of dhoop. I will not say agarbatti, dhoop. Because we only promote dhoop. We don't promote agarbatti at all. So somebody gets a wonderful fragrance. Somebody goes to Goshala, nice Gomutra smell. Somebody doesn't like Gomutra smell. It is his karmas. For our karma, it is Gomutra. So everyone has their karmas and Krishna is the permitter. It is Krishna who allows us to do that. Today I am able to smell something, it is because of Lord. Whether it is bad or good, according to relative karmas, that is all again, it is divided. Like Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun, they all have their own divisions. But again, power of order, power of taste, that comes from whom? That comes from Krishna. So in all these things, Saman Bonam is, Krishna allows us to do. Simple. It is not I who do. It is only Krishna who allows us to do. So Sanjay Prabhu, please read.
Mataji, 19 purport is remaining. Vrindan Leela Mataji,
हाँ.
have you finished?
No, Mataji, I didn't finish.
चलेगा, अभी सेल्फ स्टडी कर लेंगे माता जी. नासिके निर्विद्यताम दोधुयति नभस्वती तत्र वायुर्गंधवहो घ्राणो नसि जिगृक्षत. Thereafter, when the Supreme Purusha desired to smell odors, the nostrils and respiration were generated. The nasal instrument and odors came into existence, and the controlling deity of air carrying smell also became manifested. The nasal instrument, odor, and the controlling deity, air, smelling, etc., all became manifested simultaneously when the Lord desired to smell. The Vedic mantras confirm this statement in the Upanishads statement that everything is first desired by the Supreme before the subordinate living entity can act upon it. The living entity can see only when the Lord sees. The living entity can smell when the Lord smells, and so on. The idea is that the living entity cannot do anything independently. He can simply think of doing something independently, but he cannot act independently. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord. But the thinking can be given shape by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, the common saying is that man proposes and God disposes. The whole explanation is on the subject of the absolute dependence of the living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. Less intelligent persons claiming to be on equal level with God must first prove themselves to be absolute and independent, and then they must substantiate their claim to being one with God. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Next verse. So Nasika over now. Last verse for today. Yadatmani niralokam atmanam cha vidrukshatah nirbinneya akshaniptasya jyotischakshur gunagraha. Now for the eyes. Power of now eyes. How we are able to see. Somebody is not able to see, somebody is able to see. Yada, while Atmani unto himself, niralokam, without any light, Atmanam, his own transcendental, his own transcendental body, also other bodily forms, Vidrukshaha desired to look upon, Nirbinne due to being sprouted, he, for Akshani of the eyes, Tasya of him, Jyoti the sun, Chakshu the eyes, Gunagraha the power of seeing. Now let's see how Lord has provided the sun. Just imagine, if there is no light, where is the question of seeing? Even if you have eyes, if there is no light, I cannot see anything. So when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's sun, the power of vision, the object of sight, all became manifested. So if Krishna desires to see, that means Krishna desires for the senses of the living entities according to their karmas. So when Krishna desired to see, then everything is manifested. When Krishna has desired that this living entity should not see, then even though the balls are there, the eyes is there, sun is there, still I cannot see. That means the power of sight is given by Krishna according to whatever karmas were done. So just see in every aspect how much indebtedness we should have for Lord. Today, whatever we are doing, even seeing is mercy of Krishna, eating is mercy of Krishna, smelling is mercy of Krishna. Now, till now, what organs we have done? Nose we have done, mouth we have done, and then eyes we have done. That means in every senses, that is why Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Suppose a person is not having the gross eyes and the gross sight, like Surdas. He did not have gross eyes, gross sight, but he could see something which is beyond gross eyes and gross sight. That means to see Lord, you don't have to have gross eyes and the gross sight. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. You see, the eyes are related to where? Vilochanena, Vishesha Rupena Lochana. That is given by Lord. To see Lord, you don't need a gross eye. Suppose somebody is not having eyes, immediately you should not say, oh, your karmas are very bad. But he's able to see something which is beyond. You don't know. And he's so blissful. He's so satisfied. Somebody is having gross eyes and looking at the fan and sitting. What is the use? What is the use? It is compared to an owl's eye. To have a verse. If you don't have ears to hear about Lord, what is the use? That is, ear is considered to be a snake hole. If you don't have eyes to see Lord and the devotees of Lord, like Sanatana Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to Sanatana Goswami, the perfection of the eyes is to see the devotees. But if I don't have eyes for all those things, even though I have eyes, what is the use? Now let us go to the top. This is a very higher level the topic is going on. Now let us come in with the gross level also. It is the sun who is the principal deity for the eyes. And that is how the object of senses appear. Like I'm seeing the wall. Why? Because the light is there. Why the light is there? You'll say that it's night time, there is no sun. To make this light also, you require sun. Tidal power. What is it? I don't know how electricity is made. How electricity is made? Because of sun only, na? Whatever energy is coming from sun only, it can be transformed into different ways. But ultimately, sun is the principal deity. Okay. So Raksha read the verse. What happened, Raksha? You're not reading?
Nahi, Mataji. I did hear, Mataji, your voice. Sorry, Mataji. Shloka 21. Yadatmani niroloka atmanam cha tridakshataha nirbhinne akshini tasya jyotir chakshu gunagraha. Translation. Thus, when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's sun, the power of vision and the object of sight all becomes manifested. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. The universe is the nature of dense darkness, and therefore the total creation is called tamas or darkness. The night is the real feature of the universe. For then one cannot see anything, including oneself. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well, and thus the sun become manifested. The power of vision for all living entities become possible, and the object of vision were also manifested. This means that the whole phenomenal world become visible after the creation of the sun. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So the time now, we can take one more verse. We can take one more verse. There's one more.
Yes,
verse.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Last verse. Bodhaya manasya rishibhe atmanastad jigrushataha karnau cha nirvidyetam dishashrotam gunagraha. Bodhamanasya rishibhe atmanastad jigrataha. Bodhamanasya means desiring to understand. Rishibhe by the authorities. Atmana of the Supreme. That Jigrashataha, when he desired to take up Karna of the ears, also Nirbhit Yetam became manifested. This is the direction of the God. Mute your phone, Mataji. Or the God of air, Shrotam, the power of hearing, Gunagraha, the object of hearing. So by the development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, object of hearing became manifested. Great sages desire to hear about the self. So it's all because of the desire, what we want to hear. Again, it's the same thing. what we want to hear. If we want to hear about the Lord gives that provision. If we want to hear something nonsensical, again, Lord gives that provision. So this is the last verse, and I'll end it. I'll not be asking any questions because next batch will be starting. So Vrindavan Leela Mataji, you only continue.
Yes, बुद्ध्यमानस्य ऋषिभिरात्मनस्तज्जिघृक्षतः कर्णौ च निर्भिदीयतां दिशः श्रोतं गुणग्रहः. By development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the self. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of nature or physical knowledge, which are working by the direction of the Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They're eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibrations of mundane affairs. The great sages were interested in hearing about the Lord through Vedic knowledge and nothing more. That is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Okay, then.
Mataji, who are the controlling deity of air?
Controlling deity of air is been given, na? Air, Vayu.
Air.
But Karana it is Vayu. That is why Madhvacharya, once he is Pranavayu. One person was very deaf. Then Madhvacharya blew air in his mouth, in his ears. He was able to hear. It is Vayu who is the controlling deity for the ears. And Pranavayu
Or
is...
nose also, Mataji? Or nose also, Vayu?
For nose, what is given? Just check now what is given for the nose.
Nasike.
That what is given, just see, na? Nose. Nasike. It's a fire which is...
उनका भी वायु है माताजी.
Vayu है.
देव वायु. Yes.
It is given, na? Just see, na? Okay.
Yes. तो माताजी जो ब्लाइंड होते हैं तो जो ब्लाइंड है जन्म से तो वो भगवान उनको
कर्मा ना बाबा, जैसा अभी तो बोला ना, कर्मा.
ओके.
वो नहीं देखना है, भगवान नहीं दिखाना चाहते. सूरदास का एग्जाम्पल दिया ना, लेकिन वही सूरदास भगवान के शरण में आने के बाद भगवान के बहुत सारी दिव्य चीज को देखने लगे.
यस माताजी.
इसमें 2 लेवल्स है. एक ब्लाइंड बाय बर्थ है, वो गरीब है, क्या करे, अमीर घर में भी हो सकता है, कर्म है. और एक है दिव्य आत्मा, जिससे भगवान दिखाना चाहते हैं कि तुम ये आंखों से मुझे नहीं देख सकते. इसलिए दिव्य आत्माओं को कर्म जोड़ना नहीं है. सूरदास जी को कर्म से जोड़ो मत. It is when Lord wants to show something wonderful, the Lord can do it through his devotees. Okay. Panchakalpatarudesha Pipasindaveja Padidanam Pavani Vaishnavedam.
थैंक यू माताजी. हरे कृष्णा. दंडवत प्रणाम.